your screen. I'm our nursing health lifestyle fit. So yeah, if you're a student nurse, you want to go into nursing, you are in this profession. In fact, this is a channel you want to subscribe to. This is a channel you want to turn on your notification button, to get notified when I post a new video. So if you're a returning subscriber, you're very welcome. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to the family. Welcome to this family. So yeah, and it's not a coincidence that you stumbled onto this channel or into this channel. It is not a coincidence. It is very timely, and you are not going to regret subscribing to this channel. So if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? You want to do well by subscribing, and welcome to the family. So welcome to the family. So on today's video, I'll be sharing some tips or some nuggets on how to pass your PTS exam without having to resit for the exam or without sitting for the exam more than once. It is very possible that you sit for you go for the PTS exam, you sit for it once, and you come out in flying colors. It is very, very possible. It is not written anywhere that you must write PTS exam like 2 times before you pass. People write it once and they pass. Like, are they any better than you? No. But because they put some things in place before going to the exam, I feel that is why they are able to pass the exam. Not like they are more intelligent or they are more smart, or these things work with, how will I put it, or what will I call it? These things work with principle. I know there is the God factor, and you can never neglect the God factor, because even the Bible says He crowns our efforts with success, good success. So I'm not disputing the fact that there is a God factor. In school, then they will say read as if it all depends on reading, pray as if it all depends on prayers, or it all depends on praying. So what am I trying to say? The God factor is not excluded, but as a human being, you have to put in your own work. You have to put in your effort, because without effort there will not be success, right? Because He crowns the effort with success. So you have to put in your effort first before He now crowns it with success. So I'll be sharing some tips or some nuggets. I wrote PTS exam and I passed once. I did not have to sit for PTS exam 2 times, 3 times before I passed. I sat for it once and I passed once. So I want to be sharing some tips that I made use of while I was in nursing school. I passed my PTS, and I want to be sharing those tips with you. So if this is something you're interested in, sit back, relax, and I'll be right back. So you're welcome back to this video. For those of us who do not know what PTS means, especially for those who are just entering nursing school, who just like people who want to start up nursing as a career and they want to go into nursing school, because I'm not sure universities actually write PTS exam. It's just only for nursing schools. So for those people who do not know what PTS means, PTS is preliminary training section, and this is like the first 6 months of your stay in nursing school. After the first 6 months, you are being tested, you are being given an exam, and you have to pass the exam before you can be fully inducted into the nursing profession, before you can be fully called a nursing student, before you will be indexed as a nursing student by NMCN, the body that regulates nursing in Nigeria, nursing and midwifery in Nigeria. So you have to write this exam and pass this exam before you can be fully called a student nurse in the nursing institution of your choice, like the nursing school of your choice. So you have to pass this PTS exam in your school. So according to accreditation status of schools, some schools they accept 50 as the number, some schools accept 70, depending on the accreditation status of your school. So you might want to know the number your school accepts after PTS, so you will know how the competition is going to be, and you prepare yourself, you kit yourself up, so that you will not have the cost to return back to write PTS. There's nothing as writing an exam, writing it once and getting it right. When you fail an exam, it's not the end of the world, but it can be depressing sometimes. Yes, it can be depressing. So yes, number 1 is you have to develop a reading culture. If you say you want to do nursing, you want to come into the nursing career, and you have not developed a reading culture up till now, like, what are you waiting for? It will not work. Like, you might find it difficult to keep up. If you don't have a reading culture, you might find it difficult to keep up in nursing school. If you don't have interest in reading, you have to know how to read. You have to develop, you have to develop it. You have to have this culture of reading, because in nursing school you are going to read. You write exams back to back, and you have to pass these exams for fear of resitting the exams or being demoted. So you just have to know how to read, even if you're not the reading type, for the sake of nursing, for the sake of your love towards the profession, and you've made up your mind that okay, I want to do nursing, it is nursing or nothing. You have to know how to read. You have to learn how to read. You have to develop the culture of reading. So that is number one. Develop an interest, or the culture of reading, so you'll be able to read and pass your exams. Also, feeding is very important when it comes to studying or passing PTS exam. What do I mean by feeding? Please eat. When you are trying to pass your PTS exam, like it has to go with studying. You have to study to pass, so you have to eat. Feed yourself. Eat balanced diet. Don't starve because you are preparing for exams. How do you read without glucose? Enough glucose in the brain. The brain actually needs oxygen and glucose to function, and for your brain to have glucose, you have to have food in your body, so that the cells in your brain will make use of the glucose in your blood. Do you understand? So if you don't feed well and you starve yourself because you are preparing for exams, you might break down, you might fall sick, you might be dehydrated, you might even land in the hospital. I'm not praying for anyone to land in the hospital. What am I trying to say? You might faint. Yes, due to hypoglycemia, low sugar in the blood. You might go into hypoglycemia, and what is the need? So you have to feed yourself, learn how to feed yourself well, eat balanced diet, don't starve yourself. Don't go and start taking garri and sugar because you are preparing for exam. Oh, I don't have time to cook, I don't have time to buy food, I just want to write this exam. I know, yes, because of fear of failure, fear of having to come back to write this exam, fear of waiting for another months to come back and write the exam. Yes, but you have to feed well. It is very, very important. Please do not trade your tummy for anything. Have a study plan, have a timetable where you fix a particular time and date of a particular subject you want to read, because you will not want to have information overload. What do I mean by information overload? There were days when I would be preparing for exam and I'm reading a particular topic, and while reading that topic I'll hear my colleague or my classmate talking about a particular topic, and I'm like, have I read this topic? I'll start looking for other, that particular topic. I'll start looking for the textbooks and the materials around me to start looking up for the topic. But if you have a plan, if you have a timetable, no matter what you heard or you overheard from a colleague talking about when it comes to a particular topic, because you have a plan, you have a study guide, you are not moved. You know that you are working according to your own pace. You know you are working according to your timetable. You know you are working according to your own plan. Do you understand? So there are times when I would be reading and I would hear what other people are saying concerning a particular topic, and I'm like, have I read it? Hey, I'll go and carry that book and start reading and leaving the one that I was reading before, and it can cause information overload when you come to the exam hall and you're about to answer a particular question. Different books, different ideas, different information begins to read in your head, and maybe you know the answer to that particular question, but because you've actually accumulated a lot of information, you begin to get confused. So it's better you run at your own pace. It's better you set out your own timetable and you follow them routinely. You follow them duly. You follow them without procrastinating. It is going to be very, very, very helpful. It's going to help you study well to pass your PTS exam. Don't study whenever you are tired. Don't deceive yourself. You are very tired, you need to rest, but because you just want to read and cover up, like how we say in school, I want to cover up this particular subject, I want to cover up this particular topic, but because you want to cover up, you neglect sleep and you go to class or you open your book with every tiredness in you just to read. and at the end of the day you fall on the book and you are sleeping. Who is at loss? Who are we deceiving? Why are we deceiving ourselves? So what I'm trying to say is, don't study when you are tired. If you feel you need to sleep, you need to rest, close that book. Don't even open it at all. Go and sleep. Set an alarm. When the alarm wakes you up, you go back to your book and you start to read, instead of sleeping off while you are trying to read because you are tired. You are lost. You are not deceiving anybody but yourself. So whenever you are tired, don't open that book to read. Don't even try. Just go and sleep. Take a have a rest. Have rest. And then you come back to read. It will be very, very helpful. You will understand whatever you are reading. But the mistake a lot of us make is that even with the tiredness in us, we still drag our legs to class. We still use the last energy to open our books to read, and it's you will just fall asleep. You can't cheat nature. So it's better you sleep to your satisfaction, and then you wake up to start reading. You have to put business before pleasure. What do I mean business before pleasure? You are trying to pass your PTS exam. You just want to pass this exam once and for all, so you don't have the need to go back and wait for like 6 months before you apply again and write the exams. This is something you just do once and for all. So why would you bring pleasure before business? Why would you not put business before pleasure? What I mean by business before pleasure is, instead of going for parties, instead of going for those social functions, instead of, like, why don't you just keep yourself together, hold yourself for that period you are studying for this exam, maximize it and focus on the exam than channeling your energy into something that will not profit you at that moment. I'm not saying your social life should be on hold. That's not what I'm saying. But prioritize. Let the main thing that is your focus, or that is your main goal, be the number one. Do you understand? Hope you got that. I did not say you should not be social or put your social function on hold, but there have to be moderation. What is that thing you want to achieve at the moment? What is that thing that you can leave, or you can keep aside till you achieve what you want to achieve at the moment? That's what I'm trying to say. So it has to be business before pleasure. Your books before pleasure, your books before that party, your books before so that is that. Know the time when you assimilate better, know the time when you concentrate better. If you're a morning person, read in the morning, read in the early hours of the morning. Like, for example, me, I am a kind of person who can read anytime. Yes, I can read in any time of the day. I will not really say I read in the morning, I read at night. I can read at any time of the day, but I am better, and I perform better, and I assimilate better, I concentrate better in the early hours of the morning. Like that is when the portals are open. That's when the portals are open and everything starts to enter. I am a morning person when it comes to reading. Early hours of the morning, from like 4 o'clock, 5, 6, 7, I assimilate better. So some people, they do night, some people they do TDB till daybreak. Yes, if you're a nursing student, you will hear this slang, TDB till daybreak. Some people do till daybreak. From the night they open their books to read up to the morning. And I also do it like when I was preparing for my council exams. I did it. I had to do it. It's not like I was awake from when I opened my book till the next one. Like, my eye was shining like torch. At a point I will sleep, wake up, I'll sleep, but I will just be in class till the next morning. So what am I trying to say? Know what works for you. If you're not a night person, there's no need going for night class. You can go in the evening and come back later to go and sleep. But if you're not a night person, what are you going for night class to go and do? What are you going to night class to do? Why are you going there to deceive yourself and you sleep till the next morning? And when people see you coming back, they'll say, oh, this girl has read, see smoke everywhere. And you'll be hyped. But in your mind, you've just deceived yourself and everybody that is hyping you. So what am I trying to say? Try and know what works for you. If you're a morning person, read in the early hours of the morning. If you're a night person, read at night. and you'll be okay, or you are okay. Assess yourself on a particular topic you've read. You have to give yourself like an examination, a mini examination, because you want to assess yourself if what you've really been reading, or if what you've read actually sticks, or you can remember. So you might want to give yourself little exercise, maybe in your mind, on a paper. You can just read for a particular period of time, for like 50 minutes, 1 hour. You just close your book, meditate on what you've read, ask yourself questions in your mind, pertaining to what you've read. Or you can use a pen and paper, question yourself. I had a classmate back then. If she's watching this video, she will know she's the one I'm referring to. This girl will practically bring out her book and start giving herself assignment from, like, sometimes I'm challenged. I'm like, if someone can bring out her time to ask herself questions, like it will be plenty from all the topics that she have read, from all the subjects. She's going to like give herself assignment, ask herself questions from every topic, from number 1 to the end. She will ask herself questions in form of questions in a book, in a sheet of paper, for different topics, and she begins to answer them. This is a very practical, we have to be practical in this is a very practical way of assessing yourself, to know if what you actually read is sticking or has sticked, or you need to put in more effort, you need to put in more practice. So you might want to test yourself in your mind by asking yourself questions, or you might want to use a pen and paper. Just be practical about it, so that you know that you are not deceiving yourself and you say you've read or you are reading, and at the end of the day nothing has entered. So that's another way that also helped me, because I also practiced it. At the end of every subject or topics I've read, I try to question myself, I try to give myself exam, ask these questions to myself, and I answer them, knowing fully well that okay, this particular topic is set. Some people deceive themselves and think they can assimilate in noisy environments. They feel they can read with music. Yes, quite all right. Some people read with music. Sometimes I read with music, but let me say it's not really serious reading that I read with. I read with music, but not when I'm like serious to read. Yes, not like when I'm serious to, when I know I'm serious to read and there's something I need to grab, there's something I need to understand, I don't read with music. But if the reading is not kind of serious, I might put my earphones and listen to music. But if you want to be truthful to yourself, noise does not help when you're reading. Some people will say, oh, I know how to study in a noisy environment, I am not moved by noise, and they just keep reading even in a noisy environment. When people are making noise around them, they will not complain, they are okay because they read in noisy environment. Let's be truthful to ourselves. Noise is an irregular sound, and so you can imagine when you are reading and you are hearing irregular sounds, it doesn't work together. The two does not go hand in hand. So if you are reading, make sure you find a very suitable, comfortable place, a serene environment where there is no noise, for you to be able to read and assimilate what you are reading. So you will not deceive yourself and say you've read. At the end of the day, when it comes to the exam questions, when you see exam questions, you are not able to remember one thing to answer. It is very, very disheartening. It is very, very embarrassing. So you will not want to be in that situation. So don't read in a noisy environment if you are studying for your PTS exam. Remember, PTS exams is very critical because it determines you entering into nursing school or not. So don't joke with this period at all. Like I said initially, question yourself, because this gives you a motivation and puts your mind ahead to what you've known individually, and it helps you know what you've known and what you've not known. So you might want to put in more effort. And then if you really want to understand a topic, you have to read it over and over again. You don't just read a topic once and then you assimilate. Some people, yes, we have different threshold when it comes to assimilation. Some people might pick up their book, just read through it, and they understand what the book is saying. But if you are in that kind of position where it takes you longer time to assimilate, you might want to study a topic over and over again before you understand. So it is not bad, it is very, very good that you read a topic over and over again. Don't just study for examinations because you want to pass. Study for examinations because you want to know that thing, that when they wake you up when you are sleeping, you are able to answer without looking at your book. So I know many students study for the sake of exam, but it will be very good if we, change that mindset and start to study for the sake of knowing, apart from the exam now. For the sake of knowing, it will be actually good if we have a mindset shift when it comes to studying for exam. Don't just study because you want to pass exam. Study because you want to know what you are studying. Tackle difficult subjects when you are freshest, like when you just want to start reading, like your reading time is already here and you want to open a book to start reading. That one you find as the most difficult, start with it. Why do I say you should start with it? Because at this point your brain is still very fresh. At this point your brain is not yet accumulated with information. Your brain is not yet overloaded with information. So you would want to start with the subjects that are kind of difficult to you. You might want to start with them before you now enter into subjects that are less complex or that are simple. Do you understand? Do you get it? Do you grab? So that is it. You might want to start with subjects that are difficult when you want to start reading. Like for the first time you bring out your book to read, you might want to start with subjects that are difficult. When your brain is still fresh, you might want to start with subjects that are difficult before you now move into the less complex or the simpler subjects to you. So yeah, lying down to read might induce sleep. So if you are very sure you want to read, you want to study for your PTS exam, and you're always lying down on your bed, you are deceiving yourself. When you lie down to read, you are telling sleep to come. You are trying to induce sleep because you're on the bed and the bed is so comfortable. Most times when I want to read, I'm tempted to lie down, but I know within me that I'm deceiving myself. And at that time you see me standing up, jacking myself up, either to sit on a chair and read, or you even go to class. So if you're in the comfort of your room, people read in the comfort of their room, quite all right. I'm not against that. But like I said, you know your threshold, you know yourself, you know how you function. If you're a kind of person that you fall asleep when you lie down to read, why do you keep deceiving yourself? Why not go to the class or use a chair and table while reading? Lying on the bed naturally induces sleep when you are reading. And also make sure you use a good light while reading, because when everywhere is bright, when you have a good light, it kind of help you stay alert, it kind of help you stay awake. But if you are in a dark room or you use lantern or reading lamps that are very low at night, like especially in the night when everywhere is dark and you don't have a bright light, you don't have a good reading lamp, you might also want to fall asleep, because screen light or light naturally helps you to stay awake. Yes, you can research it. Have you noticed that when you're on your phone, because of the screen light, you tend to stay awake more than when you're not on your phone? Like you even hardly find sleep. So it still applies to this. If you don't have a bright light while reading, you might tend to fall asleep. And that's it. Rest is very important. It helps the brain, it helps your body, it helps you not to break down as an individual. Also, don't do drugs. Don't take drugs that will help you remember things. Naturally you remember things. Naturally when you read, you remember. Trust the Holy Spirit to help you. Yes, this leads me to the God factor. Don't forget the God factor. Even the Bible says he crowns our efforts with success. So until there is an effort, until he sees an effort, until he sees the effort we make, he then crowns it with success. So don't overlook the God factor. It is God who crowns our efforts with success. Read like it depends on reading. Pray like it depends on prayer, or it depends on praying. Don't forget God factor. Don't forget God. He's the one that will crown every effort you make into success or with success. So that leads me to the end of this video. I hope these tips were helpful. I hope these few things I've said are going to help you. If you've not started reading and you have PTS exam in weeks, you have any exam at all, these tips are going to be very helpful. It's not too late to sit up, it's not too late to start, it's not too late to put these things into place. And I wish you the very best. I wish you success in this journey called nursing. You are going to make it. Know that you are enough. Know that you have all it takes to become a nurse. I want you to know that you have all it takes to become a nurse. I want you to know that you are smart, you are intelligent, you are not an idiot, you are not foolish. just know that you are smart, you are intelligent, you are not a dullard. You don't find it hard to assimilate. Just tell yourself these things: you are smart, you are intelligent, you don't find it hard to assimilate. And I wish you every success that you need. I pray that God crowns your efforts with success, and I pray that you have success in this PTS exam. You will be called, you'll be sent a text message that you've passed your exam. I wish you all the very best. For those who are writing their PTS in nursing anytime from now, I wish you success. Like success is what I wish you, and I hope to see you at the top. I hope to see you getting capped, getting matriculation. It's capping with college, sha. I hope to see you getting capped if you are studying in a nursing school. I hope to see you getting capped, and I pray God crowns your effort with success. Don't worry, you will make it. You will pass. You are going to pass. Don't be afraid, don't be scared. Even if it's 50 people, even if it's 100 people, just tell yourself, keep telling yourself that amongst the number they are going to be taking in, I would be among. And I hope to see you at the top. I see you again. Bye. To subscribe, like, share, comment, turn on your notification to get notified when I post a new video. And I'll see you in my next video. I love you all. Bye.